Hello YouTube, this is God of Radio Moscow here again for you with another beer review. Now this one that I've chosen today is Warsteiner Premium Verum. Now this is what the Germans call an industrial beer, a mass-produced beer, but I've also reviewed Bitburger and Kronbacher, so I'll put the links for those in the description, and I'll maybe make a series video once I've tried a few more of the German industrial beers. But the Germans are actually pretty hard to beat on these in my opinion. But I opened this one up earlier because there was a bit of an I heard there was a bit of an oddness in the flavour of this one, and I just wanted to get a sample of it before I actually tasted the thing. But I'll just tell you a bit about the history of this brewery. Now this brewery was founded in 1753 by Antonius Kramer, and he was a farmer, but today the brewery remains in the hands of his descendants, and the current owner is Katharina Kramer, and she's the ninth generation of this Kramer family. Now Antonius Kramer brewed and sold his own beer back in 1753, and at this point he exceeded the limit as to where you have to pay tax, but this was because he'd exceeded the limit and actually had to pay tax on it. He decided that this was where his brewery would start. But his son Johannes brought the selling of homebrewed beer into the family home in Warstein. But Warstein, which the beer is obviously named after, is a little town about 70 kilometres to the east of Dortmund, and it's located in the middle of the Arnsberg forest, which is in the heart of a region of Germany called Sauerland. Now in 1802 there was a devastating fire in Warstein, and this left the city just in ruins, and the Kramer business was basically turned to ashes. But Caspar Kramer built the original brew house, which still stands in the middle of the town today. This was called the Warsteiner Domschanke, and this, like I say, it was just a small brew house in the middle of the village. But the Industrial Revolution in the second half of the 19th century basically gave Warstein some crucial transport links and allowed this business to kind of flourish and grow. Now, in 1927, they discovered a water supply called the Kaiserquell. Now, this is a natural reserve of soft water, and they found this in the Arnsberg forest. But this signalled a change in the way that this beer was brewed, and this particular water source is still used for the beer today. And they say that it contributes to the unique flavour of this beer. But many brewing companies say that, of course. But in 1976, the business had grown. By that time had grown very substantially, and they had to, and due to the increase in demand for this beer, they decided to relocate. So they relocated from the small brewhouse in the centre of town to the Valpark Brewery, which is on the southern outskirts of the Warstein town. Now, like many German companies in recent times, they've been very conscious of their carbon footprint and have worked very hard to reduce their environmental impact. But it's quite interesting, it's quite funny when you read about this one, because apparently they have their own private railway siding, and they own their own train as well, which is emblazoned with the Warsteiner Brewery. And I'm sure I actually saw this when I was in Germany recently. It was sitting on a bridge when I drove underneath it. But apparently this is Germany's largest privately owned brewery, and it's ranked as the number 4 in terms of the sales figures. But the brewery also has a visitor centre, so you can actually go and visit it and see how they brew all this beer. But this, like I said earlier, this particular beer is the Premium Verum, which is a Pilsner style beer. But the company also produce a Dunkel, which is obviously a darker beer. They have a non-alcoholic beer called Fresh, and they also have a Hefeweizen, a Weiss beer, which is called König Ludwig Weiss, Royal Bavarian Hefeweizen. And I didn't realise this. I've seen this one around it. I'm sure if it's the one I think it is, it has an orange label, and it's actually really easy to get it. So I'll need to get that one and have a look at that. But I'll just let you have a look at the bottle and cap for this beer. It's actually got quite a nice bottle, this one. I bought this one online, so the label's a little bit knackered. It's obviously been sitting in a crate for a little while. But it's actually got quite a nice brew. As you can see, the Warsteiner crown. It says on it, Ein Königin unter den Bieren, which I'm sure, if my German serves me correctly, just means a king amongst beers, or a king of the beers. I'm not quite sure. The bottle cap for this one's actually it's quite nice. It has the same sort of logo as the label. I'm not sure how well the camera will focus on this, but as you can see, it just has the Warsteiner crown and the slogan on it there. But let's get this guy out and have a little taste of it. Now this one, like I never said, this is a 4.8% Pilsner style. I'll just get this one out. You can see there's a little bit of this is quite a nice foamy head actually on this one. You can see it's a nice sort of pale straw colour. It's more of a rich golden one. It looks very light. And this is one thing I read about this beer. Apparently it has quite a surprising flavour for the lightness of the beer. The head has a little bit of retention, or maybe it's because I've poured a little bit earlier that it's not bubbling up. I heard this one has a fair amount of head on it, but there's a little bit of carbonation visible, not too much. I'm just getting aroma, the sense of the aroma for this one. It's quite, you can smell the grassiness in it. The grassiness is the first thing that comes. You can smell a little bit of aromaticness about it as well. It smells, you can get the bready malts in it as well. It actually smells really nice, I would say. It's quite a nice smelling Pilsner one. It actually smells very similar to Bitburger in my experience. But you can smell some corn in there as well. Just give it a little taste. And this one actually has, like I read about it, you can actually tell that it's got quite a lot of flavour to it. The first thing that I'm getting off this is the kind of sweet malts, and the breadiness comes just a little bit after that. You can taste the grassiness too. There's a bit of kind of you can get a little bit of citrus in it. As the colour of it would kind of suggest, it's a very light beer on the mouth. And it's very crisp. It's quite refreshing actually, which is obviously is typical of a German Pilsner beer. But it's a really, it's quite nice. It's very drinkable. I would say in terms of the industrial beers that I've had so far, my favourite has to be out of them Bitburger. This is a nice one, and it's very easy drinking. If this one was the only one of the sort of industrial beers that was available, I'd be very happy to drink this. But if I had the choice out of Kronbacher, this, or Bitburger would be my choice, just because I like that little caramel hint that's in that beer. But overall, it's a nice beer. This is a beer that you would sort of you would drink on at a garden party, or something like that. You would enjoy on a hot day. Overall, it's a fairly nice beer. It's not particularly anything special, but like I say, you tend to get the more special stuff from the smaller breweries. The aftertaste to this one is a little bit better. It has that kind of that lying bitterness to it, and it's quite a dry finish actually, I would say. But overall, fairly nice beer. Please watch the Bitburger and the Kronbacher reviews as well, so you can get a bit of a comparison between these. But hopefully, and actually, maybe once I've reviewed a few more of the industrial beers, I'll actually make a series video where I can compare all of them. But thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the videos, and also please comment and suggest different breweries for me to look at. But I'll be back soon with another beer review. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.